Hello folks, and welcome. You know, one of the things I've been wanting to do is dig my own clay, and partly because what I want to do is make some flower pots, and I always think it's nice to make flower pots out of clay that you can go and dig yourself in your locality. Anyway, I got some telephone numbers of some people who I thought might know where clay is, because I don't know where clay is around here. Anyway, I had the idea that the people who drive those backhoes or diggers, they would know where I could find clay, or farmers is another group of people who I thought would know about clay, and then the other person I thought of was people who work on the highways, on the roads. Well, anyway, I got some phone numbers and I rang them up, and I spoke to this woman, and she said, well, my husband is the chief superintendent of the highways. So I said, oh. Anyway, they called me, and he told me that if I went down to this certain place, down to Dick's Concrete, I could find clay down there, grey clay. They used it for plugging up dams or something, I don't know. Anyway, so I did. And this is what I found. Let's get the camera down there, and you can see, I'll just bring it in there a bit more detail. I've got it down there at the moment. As you can see, it's been out today in the sun drying, and of course I just got a small amount, you know, just to test out, because there's no point in getting a whole lot and then finding that it's no good. So I thought I'd just get a couple of big bucketfuls, and it certainly is clay, no doubt about that. This is clay, and it's quite clean. It's quite clean, you know. So this is going to need a bit more drying out. I'm going to then add that to water, mulch it all down, and I'm going to pass it through a sieve, and hopefully we're going to be making some flower pots with it. Right, let's go inside. Dee 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 dee. Let us go inside. I've actually got myself a new tripod. You'll be glad, oops, to know. I'll get it through the door. Just want to bring you back into the workshop here, and I've got a couple of other things just to bring you in on. I just like to keep you updated with what I'm doing. It's all fairly mundane stuff, but you know, it's all what life of a potter is, you know. And anyway, I thought I'd recently been given by my good friend Bob from Narrowsburg. Hi Bob. Bob from Narrowsburg kindly dropped me off some clay that he didn't need, and you know what, I think I've got some red clay here, which is great for flower pots as well, isn't it? So it's nice to be able to have some flower pots made out of 2 or 3 different clays. You know, just as we're getting into the season of making, and the sun's coming out, and the plants going to need potting, aren't they, in pots to make the front of our pottery establishments look beautiful. And hopefully I want to bring you in on just the front of this place here, and what I'm trying to do here, because this is like I'm setting up a studio here to try to sell my work, and it's good to know what's involved. So hopefully I'll try and bring you in on that as well. Oh yeah, and I haven't forgotten, of course, while we're talking about these things. I haven't forgotten about the kiln. We are in fact in the process of making, but I'm going to be coming on to that. That kiln I was showing you downstairs underneath this wooden house, as somebody put it. You know, like I was some kind of crackpot. Well, anyway. You have to be a bit of a crackpot, don't you, to be a potter? Anyway, so I'm going to use this red clay. Apart from making the pots, I'm going to use this red clay to make a red iron oxide slip, and I want to give you the recipe for that. So this is it. I don't know if you're going to be. Hang on, let me just adjust the. Let me just adjust the focus on this old camera. Now then, can you read that? Red slip. All right. 75% red clay and 25% red iron oxide. That will give you a red slip. Well, that's the one my dad used. David Leach at Lower Down Pottery. It's what we used to use. So I'm going to get some red iron oxide and get your clay, but you can't mix the two together, wet clay with powder. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get the where's that wire going? There it is. You're going to have to get some of this clay and dry it out. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to cut off a chunk of this. Alright. And we're going to use this to make up the slip. Nice bucket of red iron oxide slip, which you can paint. Sorry, paint is not the word. You can apply over other clays to give a change of colour, and then you can scratch through. I think we've done that before, haven't we? Okay, so there we are, just a bit of clay there to dry out on the bench. Tomorrow I'll put it out in the sun, and we're going to mix that with the red iron oxide. Just to give you that recipe again: red slip, 75% red clay, 25% red iron oxide. And we will apply the slip to the pots when the pots are still in the not completely dried out. In other words, they've still got some moisture in the pots. That's the time when we apply a slip. Okay. Right. Now, for the last thing I was going to show you, very quickly. It's going to. I just had a pot that did need finishing off, so I'm just going to quickly do that now. There it is. Right, hang on. Need a trim tool. That'll do. I just made one of these the other day, and it's been hanging around here waiting to be just skimmed off on the foot. So that's what we're going to do. Now just damp the wheel head, damp the edge of the pot, don't make it too wet. Turn him upside down on there. Get your giffing grip out, or whatever you call it. This is my giffing grip, by the way, this. Tap center it. Then we're going to. I don't really think of this as trimming as such. I think of it as skimming. And that should be it. This is one of those mixing bowls, kitchen bowl, which you could have a nice ladle placed in either side there. Now that's something that's quite easy to do, isn't it? To throw a bowl, and then you've got to make a pouring lip out of it. So we need to just wet your finger and extend out the lip here gradually, slowly, and that gives you quite a nice looking, functional, always looks good with the rolled rim. I think you'll agree it sort of finishes it off, doesn't it, on the top here. But it's not just a visual, doesn't just look good visually, it actually functions well, very satisfactory, because it gives the top of the pot strength here. And it's always the top of the pot, isn't it, that gets chipped. That's where it gets knocked. That's where it bangs into things when you're doing the dishes and clearing up. That's what gets knocked, is the rim. So having that extra bit of meat there on the rim gives it extra strength. Another practical thing is, as well, when you come to lifting it up, your finger feels that extra thickness just there on the rim, and it's a sort of purchase point, if you know what I mean. It gives it just a little bit of, so you can pick it up with a little bit more confidence. So I'm just going to put my seal on here. So there we are, drying out clay, making some flower pots, a red iron oxide slip, and just quickly trimming this bowl off. It's all life, everyday life for a potter, isn't it? These things. Okay, Simon Leach here saying, keep practicing. We'll see you soon. Bye bye now.